is the place to do it. About 40% of California is covered in desert landscapes, and these landscapes are some of the hottest places on the planet. Hey, travel reporter John Bartell here, and on this episode of Bartell's Backroads, I want to show you some desert oddities that I've come across while traveling all throughout California. And the first stop is going to be the Trona Pinnacles. These strange-looking rocks have starred in TV shows, movies, and a whole lot more. At the bottom of the Zzyzx Valley in San Bernardino County sits the lonely mining town of Trona. A little less than 1,600 people live and work in this sun-beaten community, but you wouldn't know it by the vast emptiness of this place. But if you follow the mineral piles of borax and soda ash out of town, it'll lead you to a whole nother world.
This was definitely what people would think of, like what the moon used to look like before we actually got there.
Standing tall above the Zzyzx Valley floor are the Trona Pinnacles, a towering series of alien-looking rocks.
So this is all calcite. Basically everything that we see around here is made of one mineral, and that's calcite.
According to geologist Kevin Schreckengost, the lumpy, spiring rock formations are actually not rocks.
Here, these pinnacles are made of what we call tufa, which is a type of limestone.
Oh wow, whoa, crazy bubbles. You may remember tufas from the episode I did on Mono Lake. This is a baby tufa.
This is a baby tufa. This is a fresh tufa.
Now, without getting too complicated, tufas are simply just a bunch of minerals piled on top of each other. Similar to Mono Lake, the Zzyzx Valley was what's called a terminal lake, which means snowmelt from the mountains fills up the lake, but there's no outlet or river to release the water. These are essentially just big puddles.
Big puddles. Yep, very big puddles.
Over time, minerals from the mountains made their way down into the ancient lake through underground springs and cracks in the earth. Then, eventually, over thousands of years, the sun evaporated all the water, leaving minerals behind. Minerals piling on minerals? Is that how it's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin says Zzyzx Lake was several times larger than Mono Lake before all of its water evaporated around 12,000 years ago. And that's why the tufas here are much larger.
The tallest of the pinnacles that we have here is about 30 meters, so that's roughly like 90 feet.
Because of their size and unique shape, the Trona Pinnacles have been featured in a number of movies.
Planet of the Apes was filmed scenes here, Star Trek V.
Amazing. The land.
It's also been included in music videos by, I believe, Rihanna and Lady Gaga.
Before Hollywood discovered the Trona Pinnacles, the Zzyzx family found them in the late 1800s.
They were trying to mine for borax and other minerals, and they didn't quite understand what they had underneath them for a while.
The tufas are made of calcite, which is pretty much worthless, but the ground around the tufas is loaded with borax and another valuable mineral called trona, which is used in glass making, paper production, detergents, and baking soda.
It's one of the largest kind of trona operations in the western United States.
The mining operation is far from the Trona Pinnacles, which are actually protected by the Bureau of Land Management. And that's a good thing, because they're fragile, and tufas of this size can only be found in a handful of places around the world. Acampa Pass. This brutal, boulder-filled stretch of what is now Interstate 8 caused countless breakdowns. Early automobiles went through hell climbing the steep desert grade.
Going up the hill over here, you're going from basically sea level to about 3,000 feet.
Whether the tired jalopies were headed east to Yuma, Arizona, or west to San Diego, chances are they were forced to make a stop here.
They had to let their cars cool down for a little while, and we over here would rip you off while you waited.
This is the Desert View Tower, a historic landmark built on the edge of Imperial County in the 1920s by Bert Vaughn, a wealthy land developer in San Diego.
It originally was just kind of a getaway for him and his friends out in the desert. But he was getting old towards the end and he sold it in the 50s.
The odd-looking tower has been owned and operated as a tourist trap by a few different entrepreneurs over the years. John Schultz is the current tour guide, and his uncle, Ben Schultz, is the owner, who bought the place back in 2002 and turned it into a yoga and camping retreat.
93 acres, 5 houses, the tower. It's an enormous property.
For a small entrance fee, you can climb the 5-story tower and inspect the oddities inside.
This place has been through 5 or 6 different sets of hands. Everyone had their own idea of what they wanted to do with the place.
The tower itself is kind of a recycling project made from surrounding rock and scavenged wood.
This was actually originally made up of old bits and pieces of the old plank road that used to come through this area.
Fun fact, the road through Hukumba Pass used to be made out of planks of wood. When it was ripped out, the planks were used to build the tower. From the top of the tower, you can see Interstate 8 to the east, and to the west, you can get a good view of Boulder Park. What is Boulder Park?
So it's a series of folk art carvings of animals and monsters that were carved into the rocks by an out-of-work engineer during the Great Depression.
If the rocks look a little odd or misshapen to you, there's a reason for that.
He was paid $1 and a jug of wine to do the work, and that's basically what I'm getting paid today.
If oddly shaped rocks or tall towers aren't enough to get you to pull off the interstate, maybe the UFO repair shop will spark your interest. Yahoo! Yahoo! Coyote's UFO repair shop is not part of the Desert View Tower, but it's another nearby tourist trap worth a visit if you have time.
We're pretty busy once it gets dark.
Big heat calls for a big thermometer. Before crossing the Mojave Desert, make a pit stop in Baker, fuel up, and check out the world's tallest thermometer for a real read on the desert temps. Centered between Death Valley and the Mojave National Preserve, Baker, California used to be a railroad station serving mining companies. Today, it's a gas station pit stop for heat-seeking travelers and home to the world's tallest thermometer. World's tallest thermometer. How
Yes.
tall are we talking?
134 feet up.
That's not an arbitrary height. Gabby's the shop liaison and says the 134-foot tall thermometer is a tribute to the hottest temperature recorded in Death Valley, 134 degrees Fahrenheit.
Middle of summer, you can cook an egg out here.
The massive thermometer was the brainchild of Willis and Barbara Herron, local business owners who spent $750,000 to construct this heat reader. Did Mr. and Mrs. Herron just like temperature changes, or?
I think he just liked the town, and he thought this would be a good spot for it.
Technically, this is the second tallest thermometer. Shortly after the first thermometer was constructed in 1991, high winds blew it over. A newer, stronger, tallest thermometer was built the following year. Since then, it's attracted visitors from all over the world.
As crazy it's going to sound, a lot of people want to experience that heat.
Well, if one tourist attraction wasn't enough, just down the road is Alien Jerky, a massive UFO-shaped souvenir shop loaded with dry meats. In San Diego County's Anza-Borrego Desert, monsters lurk in the sand. Dozens of metal sculptures draw the attention of tourists hunting for that perfect photo. Want to see them for yourself? Head to Guyetta Meadows. If you're looking for a landmark in the vastness of the Anza-Borrego Desert, you're looking at it. Dragons, scorpions, grasshoppers, and even camels. These giant metal sculptures are all over the place, and around here they go by many names.
Dad put them up. I think he referred to them as sky art. Other people, I've heard them say the beasts of Borrego.
Helena Avery is the president of the Under the Sun Foundation, the organization who now cares for the sculptures. But her late father, Dennis Avery, was the man who commissioned the statues to be built for one simple reason.
To do something interesting.
It was Dennis Avery who had the vision, but it was artist Ricardo Bracetta who built the beasts.
They were put up between 2008, 2010, all of them.
In all, there's about 130 metal statues that are scattered all over Mr. Avery's 1,600-acre property, which he calls Guyetta Meadows, a place that is now open to the public to drive around and view the sculptures for absolutely free. If you come in March, see the statues through a different lens at the Candlewood Art Festival, a multi-day event where artists integrate their work alongside the metal beasts.
And the town really embraced it. Now it's a big part of the identity here.
You're watching Bartell's Backroads Desert Oddity Edition. Next stop, we're heading to California's largest lake, the Salton Sea, which is home to a growing art scene. Welcome to Bombay Beach, where Burning Man installations find a new life. At first glance, this looks like a bombing range. At first glance, you might mistake this for an environmental disaster. and at first glance, you wouldn't think this was a vacation destination. But if you take a second look at Bombay Beach, you'll find this place was all of these things, and a whole lot more. So they used to blow things up out here?
They used to blow things up.
It's been decades since military planes blew up anything at Bombay Beach. In fact, the only plane you'll find around here is this one. Is this a plane crash? Is that what this is, or?
This piece is called Lodestar.
These days, artists like Rebel Dharma inhabit the desert town. A few years ago, he started the Bombay Beach Arts and Culture Center.
You know, it's just freedom out here to do what you want.
Among the dilapidated trailer homes and barren beaches are a number of randomly placed art installations, many of which were part of Burning Man's past.
All these here are installations. This is a Dream Demon. This is a Polaroid museum here.
Bombay Beach sits on the eastern edge of the Salton Sea. Before the New Age art renaissance, the town was a vacation paradise. Sonia Herbert owns the Ski Inn, a restaurant and bar which was built in a rather unique location. You said it's the lowest bar.
Right, in the Western Hemisphere.
And how low is it?
230 feet below sea level.
It's a fun fact, but the elevation of the Ski Inn, and the Salton Sea for that matter, has created numerous problems for the town of Bombay Beach.
Then the sea started to rise, and so we had to put a berm around the town to save the town.
The Salton Sea is essentially a big hole in the ground. A millennia of flooding and drought constantly affects the sea's water level. Farming, irrigation, and water diversion have only made things worse here. Fish are now dying, and the sea is going dry.
And the town sort of went down into it's almost a ghost town.
Had it not been for artists and the eye-catching installations, Bombay Beach probably would have turned into a ghost town.
It just got better and better. They bought all these defunct houses and fixed them up, so it's been really a good resurgence for the town.
Cross the California-Arizona border and you'll run into Oatman, a quirky old mining town full of free-roaming donkeys. Pick up some pellets for the town's four-legged mayor, and you'll see why visitors can't get enough of this charming roadside stop. Below the Black Mountains of Arizona, there's an old ghost town abandoned by gold miners. The prospectors left, but they also left something behind. This is Oatman, the historical Route 66 town that is famously infested with wild donkeys.
You want to give me kisses?
Brad and Kelly Blake are longtime Oatman residents. They're also the campaign managers for the mayor.
This is Walter. Okay. This is Oatman's mayor.
This is Oatman's mayor?
Yes, sir. Elect the mayor.
Okay.
By the town council.
I've met a lot of mayors in my travels, but a donkey mayor? Well, that's a first. I think you guys have some different political rules than most towns.
No, well, it's just another jackass for a politician, sir.
That definitely won't be the last donkey joke you hear in this story. The shops and businesses in Oatman truly embrace the burro humor. What does Walter prefer, burro or donkey?
He prefers prima donkey.
Prima donkey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Walter is an adopted burro, abandoned by his mother about 4 years ago. Brad and Kelly nursed him back to health, and now he's a welcome mascot inside the businesses.
Hi, Walter.
On any given day, about a dozen or so wild donkeys waltz into Oatman from the Arizona deserts to take pictures with tourists, and in return, they receive healthy alfalfa donkey pellets, which can be purchased at just about any store in town.
They are completely wild animals, and they decide when and where they want to come to town. If they don't want to come to town, they don't. Oftentimes, they stay outside of town.
Oatman has experienced many booms and busts over the years. After the gold miners left town and left their donkeys behind, Oatman became a sort of lover's hideaway. Because they were left behind, they repopulated.
Yes, sir. They do a fine job of that.
Oatman had a bit of a resurgence after historic Route 66 was built, and then when tourists discovered the donkey's hidden love nest, they discovered it was also a good place for human lovers to hide.
A lot of people don't realize Clark Gable spent a lot of time here.
Town historian and guitar player Michael Fox says actor Clark Gable and Carol Lombard spent their honeymoon at the Oatman Hotel after they were secretly married. It didn't take long for the rest of Hollywood to find out about Oatman. The Black Mountains served as a picturesque backdrop for numerous movies.
And then in 1961, they filmed parts of the movie How the West Was Won. The most recent film to be filmed in this area was on the other side of the mountain over there at Cool Springs, and that was Universal Soldier.
Are we having fun yet?
One reason Hollywood likes to make movies in Oatman is because of the ghost town feel of the place, and the fact that there's plenty of movie extras.
Well, my gunfighting name is Two Hats, and that's because I wear two hats.
Cowboys like Two Hats regularly roam the town, warning tourists about the thieving donkeys who love to steal candy or restaurant leftovers.
Well, once they grab your bag, there ain't much getting it back.
The donkeys of Oatman may have been left behind by prospectors, but now they're federally protected by the Bureau of Land Management, and now they outnumber the people in town. So it only seems fitting that the town mayor is a donkey. They kind of run the town here.
Yes, they do, absolutely. This is their town, we just live here.
Well, if you think potholes are rough, just head outside of El Centro. There's a road made entirely of wooden planks. It's a bumpy ride, so buckle up for this historic detour. Well, you're gonna need to travel to the southeasternmost corner of the state to see this historic landmark. Wood Plank Road is 45 miles outside of El Centro in the middle of the Imperial Sand Dunes Recreation Area. It's not much to look at, but these chunks of wood were part of an early highway system that allowed drivers to cross the Imperial Sand Dunes.
This is the original Plank Road. This was completed back in 1915.
When Wood Plank Road was in use, it was the fastest way to get over the sand dunes and drive to Yuma, Arizona.
The only other method of getting over to Yuma and to Phoenix area was to head 40 miles north.
Wood Plank Road is only about 6.5 miles long and sat on top of the dunes. That way, if a sandstorm started to cover the wood, it could easily be moved. The only problem, it was super bumpy. So you don't want to carry your coffee while you're going over
I
this.
wouldn't suggest it.
There was only enough room for one car on Wood Plank Road. And as you can imagine, traffic jams were pretty frequent.
They would literally have to lift vehicles off of the roadway so people could get through.
In the 1970s, a part of Wood Plank Road was pulled out of the sand, and today the Bureau of Land Management proudly displays it and lets modern cars drive over it. Well, if there's one thing I've learned from roadside attractions, it's that a good name goes a long ways, and this next spot has quite the intriguing name, Zzyzx. It's an abandoned health spa at the edge of the Mojave National Preserve. If you were driving Interstate 15 through the deserts of San Bernardino County in the 1960s, there's a good chance you would hear Dr. Curtis Howe Springer on the radio.
Hello, folks. Your old friend Curtis Springer.
The evangelic talk show broadcast to much of Southern California, but the signal would get stronger as you neared this very distinctive interstate exit.
Zzyzx. Is this even a real place?
At the westernmost edge of the Mojave National Preserve, there's an oasis with a mineral-rich health spa. Not only is Zzyzx a real place, it has a real pronunciation, Zzyzx.
The word was coined by Curtis Springer. He was notorious for always getting the last word.
Jason is the current caretaker of Zzyzx, which is currently a desert research facility run by California State University. You're actually doing something out here.
Oh yeah. People think there's nothing out here. There's a lot of activity out here.
Before the college students in the laboratories, Zzyzx was a mineral health spa built by none other than Dr. Springer.
Springer actually dug this thing out and stuck a fountain out in the middle of it.
Dr. Springer was running what some may call a fake health spa for the rich. In fact, Dr. Springer wasn't even a doctor.
I think the last straw was he started sectioning off the land and selling it.
Legal battles went on for years, but in 1974, the federal government reclaimed the 12,000-acre health spa and renamed Zzyzx Soda Springs. 2 years later, California State University moved in and turned it into their Desert Studies Center.
The general public are welcome to visit this site during daylight hours.
When most flights were grounded during the pandemic, one world traveler in Southern California refused to let COVID stop his adventures. With international travel nearly impossible, he built his own COVID-safe country. Just don't forget your passport when you visit the micronation of Slowjamistan. Since 1850, California has laid claim to this portion of the Colorado Desert. And since 1907, this sandy soil has been a part of Imperial County. But on February 6th, 2022, a new micronation was born on an 11.7-acre plot of land sandwiched in between Ocatella Wells and Westmoreland.
Welcome to the United Territories of the Sovereign Nation of the People's Republic of Slowjamistan.
Getting inside Slowjamistan is not easy.
Security of Special Forces. I will need you on that side.
The border's heavily guarded, and there's a strict dress code for anyone who wants to enter.
Nobody is wearing Crocs, right? If you are wearing Crocs, you do not come into Slowjamistan today.
Once visitors are given a visa, the Sultan of Slowjamistan welcomes everyone with a speech.
Many of you watching today probably ask yourself, just what is Slowjamistan?
It's a very long speech.
We have many visions for the future. Some are very big and grand, some are small and conservative. A bowling alley, a Korean barbecue restaurant, an armadillo farm, right over there.
Like many others here on this day, I was confused by the Sultan's speech, so I requested a sit-down interview in his Oval Office. Slowjamistan, what is your guys' beliefs here? Why are you a peaceful nation?
We are absolutely a peace-loving nation. There are only a few things that we don't like, and hate is a strong word. I'll use the word hate. We hate Crocs, the shoes, the silly shoes with the rubber with the holes.
I quickly learned that the Sultan's hatred for Crocs runs so deep that he's gone to great lengths to protect his nation from intruders wearing them. Landmines being just one of the deterrents.
The confetti landmines. They shoot confetti and also Mexican candy. Have you had the Mexican candy with the chili inside?
I have.
First it's sweet, then it's very spicy. Surprise! So,
despite what the Sultan will tell you, there's not much to protect in Slowjamistan. The sand is the nation's main export. The Slowjamistan River can't really sustain any crops, and if you look at the country's financial report, you'll understand why the Sultan relies on his American job to keep the country afloat.
So my job for money is radio DJ, and I do a show called Sunday Night Slow Jams. It airs all across America, 200 radio stations, including Sacramento.
And therein lies the first bit of real truth. The Sultan is actually radio host Randy Williams. And the next bit of truth, Randy is a world traveler.
My goal, my mission in life, is to see all 193 countries in the world. There are 193. Currently today, I am at 175.
Randy would have seen all 193 countries by now had the pandemic not stopped his travels. Like the rest of us, he was grounded.
So basically, short story, I ran out of countries, so I made my own.
Slowjamistan is more than just a patch of sand to Randy. It's more than just a fun talking point on his radio show, and it's more than just a protective refuge for the Slowjamistani raccoons.
Is this a taco?
This is a taco, yes. Do not feed the raccoons tacos or anything else.
Slowjamistan is a safe haven, a pandemic-friendly place in the middle of the desert where Americans can travel outside the country safely.
That is the headline. You can print that. He ran out of countries, he made his own.
Just off Highway 395 in the Eastern Sierra, there's a roadside attraction you won't want to miss. Stretch your legs in the desert town of Olancha and explore an open-air metal art display that tells a story all of its own. If you aren't looking for them, you might just pass them.
This sculpture was the first sculpture that I put in the garden, and it's the tallest one. She's 15 feet tall.
About halfway between Los Angeles and Mammoth Lakes is Yael Hoffman's gift to the Eastern Sierra commuters.
Everything you see is not at all what it means. They're all symbolic.
The tiny desert town of Olancha doesn't have a lot going for it, but the growing collection of colorful metal sculptures have been attracting and inspiring curious travelers since 2010.
One guy made a tattoo out of one of my sculptures.
There's no entry fee to get into the sculpture garden. In fact, you may just walk out with a gift.
people give us and exchange gifts with us anonymously.
Self-taught, Yael cuts, welds, and grinds all of her art from recycled material that she sources from a lot of different places.
Friends from, who live in abandoned mining towns.
Born in Israel, Yael has bounced around the world, Berlin, then LA, and eventually Olancha, where her and her ex-husband purchased this 10-acre plot of land and started living off the grid. I mean, really off the grid.
It's a little bit of everything. Yep. That's it's an outhouse.
It's a simple life and sometimes lonely life in the desert, but Yael's 550 square foot home affords her more time to focus on her art. And it's her art that brings in regular visitors that she very much enjoys meeting.
The greatest thing living the way I do is that every day is unpredictable.
Well, thanks for watching Bartell's Backroads, Desert Oddity Edition. I hope it's inspired you to take a little road trip of your own. I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the Backroads.